like Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Breanna has broken their silence about this massacre they team just had.
Nobody expected the post-game conversation to become even bigger than the game itself. The Indiana Fever had just delivered one of their most convincing performances of the season, leaving fans celebrating and critics scrambling to explain what had just happened. But instead of focusing only on the scoreboard, cameras quickly turned toward something else: the reactions. As interviews began and social media exploded with clips and comments, Sabrina Ionescu and Breanna Stewart, two of the most respected players in professional basketball, found themselves at the center of an entirely different discussion. Their words about Caitlin Clark immediately caught the attention of fans across the country. Some called it a passing of the torch. Others described it as the ultimate sign of respect between elite competitors. Meanwhile, social media couldn't stop asking one question: has Caitlin Clark already changed the way even the biggest stars in the WNBA view her? The conversation spread far beyond Indiana and New York. Analysts debated what these comments really meant. Fans celebrated the growing respect between stars, and basketball insiders began wondering whether this was another major turning point in Clark's incredible rookie journey. But what actually happened after that blowout loss? And why are so many people calling this one of the most important moments of the WNBA season? Let's start from the beginning. The atmosphere inside the arena felt different long before the final buzzer sounded. From the opening minutes, the Indiana Fever looked locked in. The ball was moving with confidence, the defense was active, and every player seemed to understand exactly where they needed to be. Caitlin Clark wasn't simply looking to score, she was controlling the pace of the game, creating opportunities for teammates, and forcing the defense to make impossible decisions. Every possession seemed to tell the same story. Indiana wasn't relying on one spectacular play. They were playing complete basketball. That was perhaps the biggest surprise for many fans watching around the league. For months, critics had argued that the Fever depended too heavily on Clark's individual brilliance. Whenever Indiana struggled, conversations quickly shifted toward roster construction, coaching decisions, or whether the young team had enough experience to compete with the league's elite. But this game looked different. The offense flowed naturally. The defense communicated. Players celebrated each other's success. It looked like a team finally beginning to discover its identity. Across social media, fans immediately noticed the change. Posts praising Indiana's chemistry started appearing almost instantly. Some viewers wrote that this was the best basketball the Fever had played all season. Others pointed out that Clark appeared more patient than ever, allowing the game to come to her instead of forcing difficult shots. Analysts watching the broadcast made similar observations. Rather than focusing solely on Clark's scoring numbers, they highlighted her decision-making, court vision, and ability to create easy opportunities for teammates. That's something statistics don't always capture. A great pass that leads to another pass. A defensive rotation that prevents an easy basket. A quick decision that changes the rhythm of an entire possession. Those little moments often separate good teams from great ones. As the lead continued growing, cameras repeatedly showed the reactions from both benches. Indiana looked energized. Every defensive stop brought another celebration. Every successful possession seemed to build even more confidence. Meanwhile, frustration naturally began showing on the opposing side. No professional athlete enjoys losing, especially in a nationally discussed matchup. But despite the disappointment, something interesting happened after the game. Instead of creating controversy or making excuses, much of the post-game discussion centered on respect. Reports from post-game interviews and media coverage highlighted how Sabrina Ionescu and Breanna Stewart acknowledged Indiana's performance and recognized the impact Caitlin Clark continues to have on the floor. Their comments were widely interpreted by fans as signs of respect for both Clark's talent and the Fever's improvement. That immediately became one of the biggest talking points online. Basketball fans know that praise from fellow superstars carries weight. These aren't casual observers. They're elite competitors. They understand how difficult it is to perform under constant pressure. They know what it takes to prepare every single night. And they recognize excellence when they see it. Social media quickly exploded with reactions. Some fans called the comments classy. Others said this was exactly what professional sports should look like: intense competition followed by mutual respect. Many believed that moments like these help grow the game by showing that rivalries don't have to become personal. Of course, not everyone interpreted the reactions the same way. Some viewers believed the praise reflected Clark's rapid development. Others argued it was simply experienced veterans acknowledging a talented young player after a strong performance. Regardless of interpretation, one thing became clear. People were talking. Sports television programs discussed the game's biggest moments. Podcasts debated Indiana's recent improvement. Online creators broke down Clark's passing, shooting, and leadership throughout the contest. The conversation wasn't limited to one incredible highlight. It focused on the complete picture. How much had Indiana improved? How dangerous could this team become if they continued playing with this level of confidence? And perhaps most importantly, was this the beginning of a genuine shift in the WNBA's competitive landscape? The Fever entered the season carrying enormous expectations. Much of that attention naturally followed Caitlin Clark because of her historic college career and the unprecedented excitement surrounding her arrival in the league. Every game attracted huge audiences. Every performance generated headlines. Every mistake sparked criticism. Few rookies or young stars have ever entered professional basketball under such an intense spotlight. Yet with that spotlight also came opportunity. Each strong performance gave Clark another chance to prove she belonged among the league's elite. Each victory helped strengthen Indiana's belief. Each challenge became another lesson. That's why this particular game resonated with so many fans. It wasn't simply another win. It felt like evidence that the Fever were beginning to mature together. Clark wasn't carrying the entire load alone. Her teammates contributed. The defense responded. The coaching adjustments appeared effective. Everything seemed to fit. As excitement spread across social media, former players and basketball analysts began discussing what Indiana might become over the remainder of the season. Some predicted the Fever could surprise teams in the playoffs if they maintained this momentum. Others urged caution, reminding fans that one impressive performance doesn't define an entire season. Still, optimism continued growing. Perhaps the most interesting part wasn't the score itself. It was the reaction afterward. Because when respected veterans publicly recognize another player's performance, fans naturally pay attention. And as the discussion surrounding Sabrina Breanna Stewart, and Caitlin Clark continued gaining momentum, another layer of the story began emerging, one that involved growing respect, changing perceptions, and what these post-game reactions could mean for the future of the WNBA. That's where the story takes an even more fascinating turn. As clips from the game continued circulating online, the conversation shifted from the final score to something much bigger. Respect. That's the word many fans kept using. Throughout the WNBA season, competition has been intense. Every team wants to prove itself, and every superstar wants to win. But one of the things that makes professional sports so compelling is what happens after the game. Sometimes, the strongest statements aren't made during competition. They're made once the clock hits zero. Following the Fever's impressive victory, basketball fans closely analyzed every interview, every post-game comment, and every reaction involving Sabrina and Breanna Stewart. While different outlets and social media accounts interpreted those moments in different ways, one theme dominated the discussion. Many fans felt that Clark had earned another level of respect from some of the league's biggest names. That idea spread quickly. Basketball podcasts began debating whether Clark's game had reached another level. Sports talk shows discussed how much Indiana had improved compared to earlier in the season. Even former players joined the conversation, pointing out that earning praise from established veterans is often one of the biggest milestones in a young player's career. Of course, opinions varied. Some analysts argued that one outstanding performance shouldn't change the league's hierarchy overnight. Others believed this game was simply another example of Clark continuing to grow as a professional. But nearly everyone agreed on one thing. Indiana looked different. The offense appeared more balanced. The defense played with greater confidence. The communication between teammates seemed stronger than it had been just weeks earlier. and Caitlin Clark looked completely comfortable leading that group. What impressed many observers wasn't just her shooting. It was her patience. There were moments when defenders expected Clark to force a difficult shot. Instead, she found an open teammate. There were possessions where she slowed the pace, waited for the defense to react, and then delivered a pass that created an easy basket. Those decisions rarely make the loudest headlines. But coaches notice them. Players notice them. Veterans notice them. That's one reason so many fans believe this performance carried extra significance. It showcased a complete floor general rather than simply a talented scorer. Meanwhile, social media continued doing what it always does after a major game. Every clip became a debate. Every quote sparked another discussion. Some fans celebrated the growing respect between elite players. Others argued that rivalries become even better when competitors acknowledge greatness while still trying to beat each other. Many longtime basketball fans appreciated that perspective. Professional athletes understand how difficult this level truly is. They know what happens behind the scenes. The early morning workouts, the endless film sessions, the pressure to perform every single night. That's why compliments from fellow stars often resonate differently than headlines created by commentators. They come from people who live the experience. As excitement continued building, Indiana supporters became increasingly optimistic about the team's future. Not because of one game alone, but because this performance seemed to confirm several positive trends. The Fever weren't relying on individual heroics. They were winning through teamwork. Role players contributed meaningful minutes. The defense created opportunities. The ball movement improved. And Clark appeared increasingly comfortable trusting everyone around her. That growing chemistry became another major talking point. Fans praised the contributions of players across the roster, noting that successful teams are built through collective effort rather than individual brilliance alone. Basketball has always been that kind of sport. One great player can change a franchise, but championships usually require an entire team buying into the same vision. Many supporters believed Indiana was beginning to show signs of exactly that. Still, not everyone was ready to declare the Fever championship contenders. Some analysts urged patience. They reminded viewers that long seasons are filled with momentum swings. Strong performances must be repeated consistently before lasting conclusions can be drawn. That caution added another interesting layer to the conversation. Could Indiana sustain this level? Could Clark continue producing under enormous expectations? Could the supporting cast maintain its confidence as the pressure increased? Those questions remained unanswered. And perhaps that's what made the story even more compelling. The excitement wasn't only about what had already happened. It was about what might happen next. Every upcoming game suddenly felt more important. Opponents would undoubtedly prepare differently. Defenses would continue trying to slow Clark down. The Fever would have to prove that this wasn't simply one memorable night, but part of a larger transformation. Meanwhile, fans eagerly waited for the next chapter. Would the growing respect around Clark continue spreading across the league? Would Indiana keep building momentum? Or would new challenges test everything the team had worked to establish? One thing was becoming increasingly clear. The spotlight surrounding Caitlin Clark wasn't fading. If anything, it was growing brighter with every performance. And with greater attention comes greater expectations. The biggest test, however, was still ahead. Because the true impact of this game wouldn't be measured by one final score or one night's reaction. It would be measured by how the Fever responded in the weeks that followed, and whether this moment marked the beginning of something much bigger for both Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. As the excitement surrounding the game began to settle, one important question remained. Will this be remembered as just another regular season win, or will fans eventually look back at it as the moment the Indiana Fever truly announced themselves as contenders? That question has fueled conversations across the basketball world. For much of the season, the Fever have carried enormous expectations. Every game featuring Caitlin Clark has attracted national attention, and every performance has been analyzed from every possible angle. When the team wins, people credit Clark's brilliance. When they lose, critics immediately begin questioning everything from coaching decisions to roster depth. That's the reality of being the face of one of the league's biggest stories. But this victory felt different. It wasn't simply about one incredible shooting performance or one viral highlight. It was about complete basketball. The Fever looked organized. They looked confident. Most importantly, they looked connected. That chemistry is something fans have been waiting to see. Throughout the season, Clark has repeatedly emphasized that building a winning team takes time. Every practice, every road trip, every difficult loss, and every comeback helps create trust between teammates. Games like this suggest that trust is beginning to show on the court. As more analysts reviewed the matchup, another interesting discussion emerged. Rather than focusing only on Clark's statistics, many commentators highlighted her basketball IQ, her ability to control the tempo, her willingness to make the extra pass, her patience when defenses trapped her. Those qualities often separate great players from great leaders. Leadership isn't always loud. Sometimes it's making the right decision instead of the spectacular one. Sometimes it's trusting a teammate to make the winning play. Many fans believe Clark has continued developing in exactly that direction. Meanwhile, the reactions involving Sabrina Ionescu and Breanna Stewart remained one of the biggest post-game talking points. Fans viewed the reported praise as a reminder that elite competitors recognize excellence, even after difficult losses. Whether on social media, sports television, or basketball podcasts, one message kept appearing over and over again. Respect has to be earned. Many supporters argued that Clark is earning more of that respect with every passing game. Not because of headlines, not because of popularity, but because of consistent performances against elite competition. That distinction matters. The WNBA is filled with experienced veterans who have spent years proving themselves. Recognition from players of that caliber carries significant meaning for fans, even if every comment is interpreted differently. At the same time, Indiana knows praise doesn't guarantee future success. The schedule doesn't become easier. Opponents don't stop preparing. If anything, teams become even more determined to defeat a roster receiving this much national attention. Every game now feels like a statement opportunity. Opposing defenses continue creating special game plans for Clark. Crowds become louder. Expectations become higher. Whether this season ends with a playoff run, a championship chase, or simply another important step in the franchise's growth, moments like this help shape the league's future. One game may not define an entire season. One post-game interview may not define an entire career. But together, they create momentum. And right now, momentum appears to be on Indiana's side. The only question left is whether the Fever can turn that momentum into something unforgettable. Because if this performance was only the beginning, the biggest chapter of Caitlin Clark's WNBA journey may still be waiting to be written. And there you have it. What started as a dominant Indiana Fever victory quickly turned into one of the most talked about stories in the WNBA. From Caitlin Clark's leadership and playmaking to the growing respect being shown around the league, fans have plenty to discuss. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Caitlin Clark has already earned the respect of the WNBA's biggest stars? And after performances like this, do you believe the Indiana Fever are becoming legitimate championship contenders? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because some of the best conversations always happen after the video ends. Whether you agree or disagree, make your voice heard. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more coverage of Caitlin Clark, Indiana Fever news, WNBA drama, player reactions, media buzz, and the biggest stories happening around the league, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss our next upload. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Your support helps this community continue growing, and we truly appreciate every single view, comment, and discussion. Until next time, keep following the game, keep supporting great basketball, and remember, sometimes the biggest stories begin after the final buzzer sounds. We'll see you in the next video on my channel.